welcome you all to an inspiring week ahead. In my channel, you will find my videos on how I encourage people on self-healing, self-awareness and to handle oneself and the relationship that matter the most. Now, in today's video, I'm gonna give you some glimpse on how saying truth about ourselves and to seek the same with others can help us uncover our unapologetic selfhood. In one word, to uncover our soul. Well, check that out. Have you ever wondered what is the message we could get from the laboring women? Well, their message was about staying open when things are painful. Usually or generally, a woman's cervix is like, it looks like this, a little tight muscle at the base of the uterus, and during labor it has to stress from there to this. Yes. So when the woman is trying to resist that pain, it could create more pain and it could block what wants to be born. But the magic here is when the woman stopped resisting the pain and opened, it's like the universe noticed it and sends in a wave of help. Once I realized this message, when things are difficult and painful to me in my life or in my work, of course at first I resist, but again I try to remember that message from being a mother, to stay open, to stay curious and to ask the pain what it's come to deliver. Something new wants to be born. Also, I have this bedrock belief that every one of us, every baby that is born, has its own unique worth, unique spark in it. It's like matchless mashup of biology and ancestry and mystery. And every one of here, you or me, and every one here is a former baby, right? There's a message I recently understood about time from Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, at the end of his life, he concluded that life, that is hamster wheel experience of our life, is just an illusion, Maya. We run faster and faster, round and round, trying to get somewhere, but all the while underneath this surface there is a different dimension where he says the past, present and the future merge into deep time, and he explained us that this dimension as the only being, like just being there, only being, that's the quote. And he tried this experience and he called this experience as the sacred hour. Well, you can check it in the Google and understand more about it by googling Albert Einstein's sacred hour. These three lessons, like first uncovering the soul, message from the laboring women about staying open, and the deep time experience by the Albert Einstein, calling it as sacred hour. So here I came across one of the speaker Elizabeth Hesser's personal experience, and I would like to share it with you. So a couple of years ago, her younger sister came out of the remission of a rare blood cancer, and the only treatment left for her sister was a bone marrow transplant, and the doctors found out the perfect match was Elizabeth for her sister's bone marrow transplant. And when Elizabeth came to know this, she was like, really me? And which is pretty typical for a siblings, right? In sibling society, there's lots of things happening, like there's lots of love, there's lots of friendship, there's lots of understanding, but also there's jealousy, there is misunderstanding, there is a competition, there is rejection and attack. And in siblinghood, And only in a siblinghood we start assembling our first layer to cover our soul. When Elizabeth realized this, she went on to a research mode. And the premise of the transplant is pretty straightforward. Doctors destroy all the cancer cells in the patient through massive doses of chemotherapy, and then they replace the marrow with the several millions of healthy marrow cells from the donor, and they do everything possible to make sure that these new marrow cells engraft into the patient. These bone marrow transplants are fraught with danger. Even if her sister could make through the near lethal chemotherapy, there would be so many other challenges she has to face, like Elizabeth's cells might attack her sister's body and her sister's cells might reject Elizabeth's cells. Doctors call it as rejection and attack, and both could kill her. Rejection, attack, and these two words ring a bell in the context of siblings. Elizabeth and her sister had a very long history of love. Also, they had a long history of rejection and attack, from minor misunderstandings to bigger betrayals. They didn't have that kind of relationship where they talked about the deep stuff. Unlike other siblings or any other relationship, they were hesitant to say their truths, to reveal their wounds, or to admit their wrongdoings. But Elizabeth understood the danger of the rejection and attack, and she left the bone marrow transplant completely to the doctor, and she did something more, which she called it as soul marrow transplant. Elizabeth wondered, what if they faced the pain that they caused to each other instead of the rejection and attack? Could they listen? Could they forgive? Could they merge? When doing this, will that teach their cells to do the same? So Elizabeth thought, before her sister could go through the bone marrow transplant, why not visit a therapist? She tried to convince her sister, saying about how carting around made-up stories kept them separated. And she also added it's time that they need to clean up their relationship. Don't you think? Trust me, a health crisis like this will make people to do any sort of risky things. And they both decided, and they went to many therapy sessions, and during the course they went down to the marrow. They looked at each other and they released years of stories and assumptions about each other, and the blame and shame they had for each other, until there was all that was left was only love. Yes, Elizabeth or her sister are brave to go through the bone marrow transplant, but Elizabeth was brave to do the other kind of harvest and transplant, which is the soul marrow transplant, like getting emotionally naked with another human being, putting aside the pride and defensiveness, and sharing yourself with each other and their vulnerable souls. After the sisters' transplant, they started to spend more and more time together. Their past, their present merged together, and they entered into deep time. Elizabeth came off her hamster life experience, which is her personal life or professional life. She came off that, and she joined her sister in that lonely island of healing and illness. They spent months together in that isolation unit. Our fast-paced society does not support or even value this kind of work. We see this as a disruption of real life and important work. Yes, we worry about the emotional drain and the financial cost. But yes, there is a financial cost. Here, Elizabeth was paid in a kind of currency that our culture seems to have forgotten long back. I believe Elizabeth was paid in love, Elizabeth was paid in soul. Elizabeth was paid in her sister. After the transplant, it was the best year for her sister. But surprising, she suffered so much, but her sister mentioned this, that the life never tasted so sweet. And you know why? Because of the soul bearing and the truth telling things that they have made with each other. Her sister became more unapologetic with the people around herself. She started to say things that she always wanted to say. She started to do things that she always wanted to do. The same happened to Elizabeth. Elizabeth became braver about being authentic with the people in her life. Elizabeth started to say truth, and more important, she sought the truth of others. But after an year, the cancer came roaring back to her sister, and this time doctors could do nothing about it. They just gave her a couple of months to live. One fine day, the night before her sister died, Elizabeth sat beside her sister bedside, and she saw her sister became so thin and so small, and she could see the blood pulsing in her neck. It was Elizabeth's blood. It was her sister's blood. It was their blood. When Elizabeth's sister dies, a part of Elizabeth would die too. Elizabeth tried to make sense of it all. 1. How by becoming one with each other, they became more of themselves, more of soul self. 2. How by facing and opening to the pain of their past, they had finally been delivered to each other. 3. How by stepping out of the hamster life experience, now they will be connected forever. Elizabeth's sister has left so many things to Elizabeth, but for you and I, Elizabeth leaves one message. You or I don't have to wait for a life or death situation to clean up the relationship that matter to us, to offer the marrow of our soul and to seek it in the another. We can all do this. We can all be like the new kind of first responder, or we can all be the one who can take the first courageous step towards another to do something or to try to do something other than the rejection or the attack. We can all do this for the disconnection and the discord of all around us. We can do this for the soul of this world. Thank you. Share and comment and like. Thanks for watching.